Basically what I'm holding here is the F&B edition of Worthy Book series. It's basically a voucher booklet packed with 175 vouchers where you can use at more than 80 shopping malls at all the restaurants and F&B places. Okay, so having a look inside, we have the contents by different cuisines like Chinese, desserts, drinks, Japanese, Korean, and so on, right? If we flip over the page, we have the table of contents by area, whereby if you stay in Ampang, you can see the various brands that you can actually visit with our voucher booklet. Alright, now if we flip over to the other page, again, it's the same where we have Kuala Lumpur on the left and Selangor on the right. And all these places are, if you realize, are actually shopping malls. So take an example, if we go to Mid Valley or the Gardens, we can actually use it at the various brands that are shown here. So the number beside denotes the page number where the brands are actually at, right? Now, just before I flip to an example voucher page, this is the last table of contents page where it shows that you can also use at various other states like Penang, Johor, Perak, and so on. Okay, so if we flick through a example brand page, you can see that we have a page here where on the left it will be the reviews talking about the concept of the F&B outlets and what are the 3 must-try items, also called the 3 bestseller items of that brand. So it acts as a review or introductory F&B guide in Malaysia, and also these are some of the vouchers on the right hand side. Each brand has about 4 vouchers here that you can tear out easily to use at the outlet. Right, just present this voucher to the waiter or the waitress and you can enjoy things like discounts or freebies at the outlet. Right, so every page here is a voucher and a review page. So that's basically what the book is about. So for the other one, this is the ladies edition. It's everything from head to toe for lady. Things like pedicure, manicures. For example, this one is a pedicure manicure brand that you can actually enjoy some discounts of their services. Things like facial mask, eye care products, aromatherapy, spa, massage, facial care products like this one, Himalaya, you can get buy one free ones for their skincare products. So it's everything for a lady. Yeah? Spa, massage, facial treatments, body treatments, and so on. Yep. So that's for the ladies, and it's pink in color.
Okay. Alright, good morning. We are joined with Jia and Ken of Worthy Books. Now we are recording at Ahmad Ridge today, so expect a little bit of Kho sound quality. And obviously because we are in a very awkward position, and you probably will see the side of my face, but you will see these 2 gentlemen. But that's more important. Now, before we talk about Worthy Books, Worthy Books is booklets of coupons. I think these are amazing products. But let's talk about the beginning. Let's go all the way down, all the way back. How did you started? How do you meet and stuff like that? Okay. Who wants to start first?
I think you start first.
Alright, sure.
The journey starts with him.
Okay, alright.
Okay, so a bit of background about me. I studied engineering, economics and management at Oxford University. Subsequently, I spent 13 months doing corporate finance in a local investment bank. So after 13 months, I felt that I wanted to try something different. Right, so we basically ventured into I don't know, you can call this publishing or advertising.
Were you doing this when you were in school, or?
No, actually.
You came back already?
Okay, at that time I was in KL already. So I was the investment bank was a local one. Yeah.
So before that, when you were studying at Oxford, were you into entrepreneurship, or were you figuring out ideas?
None at all.
None at all, but you came back, the first thing you do is...
Yeah, exactly. Well, after spending 13 months in the bank, then yeah.
what made you decide to start your own business? I mean, 13 months in a bank and being a investment agent and all, the money is lucrative.
Definitely. A lot of my ex-colleagues thought I was crazy because it's such a promising career. And but to me was that throughout the 13 months I learned a lot actually during the various corporate exercises, meeting with the directors and so on. But it's just that I felt that if I were to go into to become an entrepreneur, I could explore various aspects of a business like sales, marketing, business development, HR, and so on and so forth. So I felt that it would be a more rewarding career in that sense.
You feel that you're not already doing that at the bank?
It was okay. So as mentioned, the corporate exercises, meeting the directors and so on. But at the same time, we were bogged down with paperwork as well.
Right.
Yeah. So I would say probably about 60 to 70% of the time was basically on the paperwork. Yeah, and basically taking the checklist. Yeah.
So you didn't like that at all, and you decided that you want something more exciting.
Exactly.
But it didn't cross your mind to join another company?
I guess at that point, I would say looking back, I would say pretty naive. So I underestimated the difficulties, to be honest. Looking back, I wouldn't have dared to start up actually. So I would say at that time I was quite naive, and that helped me to come out to start this.
So when you came back at the time, how do you come up with the idea?
Right.
You had an idea of becoming an entrepreneur. Yeah, that much we pretty much covered. But having an idea of becoming an entrepreneur, but with no ends.
Right. How did it happen?
How do you come up with the idea?
Right. Okay.
What were the earlier ideas that you had?
I see. Okay. Well, actually, I'm from Kuching, and basically I came across a similar booklet in Kuching.
Right.
Right. And so I thought, why not do it in Klang Valley? Because at that time we have not seen any similar booklets before. And in fact, this kind of concept is pretty popular in the US and Australia. Right? So we thought, because a lot of the brands actually, the HQ are based in Klang Valley. So we thought it would be something that we thought would be easy to do. Yeah, but as mentioned, we underestimated the difficulties.
Okay. So how do you meet Ken?
Right.
We're actually brothers.
Well, you sure fool me.
Yeah, I know we don't look alike.
Yeah, note on the cards. One is called Ken Kho, and the other one is called Han Jia.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a deliberate decision. Yeah. So.
Okay. All right. So how do you rope him in?
No, actually, at the time when just started out to look
Who's
into
younger?
this.
Who's older?
Jia is younger.
All right.
Yeah, I'm older.
Okay.
So at that time I was in the IT industry. In fact, I've been in the IT industry for 6 years.
Right.
When I think it was over a Chinese New Year holiday or something like that, when we were both back in Kuching, and we saw a similar publication in Kuching, and we were thinking that like Jia mentioned, most of the brands HQ are based in Klang Valley. Logically, that should be the place to start. Right? It's easier to talk to client brands or more well-known brands, right? So at that time, I was doing it on part-time basis,
right,
while Jia just quit completely his investment bank job and went full-time on it. So
do you also feel that he was crazy?
Sort of.
It's hard to say because you're also crazy, right? Because you also eventually quit your job.
Yeah, but I was doing it on part-time basis, right?
Right.
So I mean, I think he had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
He was young.
Because
he's really young, and I mean, he didn't like what he was doing at the time.
Right.
So there's no harm trying something for a while. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you can
you
just
can still go back.
Yeah, you still can go back or get a new job. It's fine. So I think he had nothing to lose.
So let's talk about you.
Right.
You've been you're an IT graduate or?
No, I was in civil engineering.
Right. How do you get yourself in IT?
Um,
What were you doing with IT?
okay, I actually I applied to a few consultancy companies when I first graduated, and I did get an offer from Accenture, and they were offering quite a good starting salary package, but I refused in the end I didn't take up the offer because my eldest brother, who is also an entrepreneur himself, he was in IT, and so he did ask me to join him to help him out a bit. So when I went in, I went in for 6 years. Yeah, so I was in IT.
6 years?
Yeah. I know.
When you started?
I graduated in I think 2004. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I was around there for like six to 6.5 years. Yeah.
So
But I wasn't like a programmer, I wasn't a coder, things like that. No,
What were you doing
I was just moving around within the company, like doing operations, doing product management, doing after sales management.
So you're more like a
things like that.
management trainee kind of
Yeah. I was
you
moving
are-
around the different sectors. Yeah, yeah. So
So how do you enjoy that?
I think it was I learned a lot dealing with different types of people. I think that helped. Like
I'm
dealing
sure,
with
considering the
people.
fact that right now, whatever, all the departments that have gone through,
Yeah.
all the experience you've gone through,
Yeah, that's right.
you have brought this experience to where you are right now.
Yeah,
To,
yeah.
to Wordy Books, right?
Yeah, that's
And
right.
so you're able to help you to
Yes,
you know,
because
to build
my
this business.
my last role was being a marketing role. Well, I was taking a marketing role before I left the company. So when I was doing marketing, I suddenly thought that I got tired of B2B markets because when I was in the IT line, the company was dealing with a lot of corporate clients.
Right.
Yeah, we were selling like IT solutions to corporate
What
clients.
kind of IT solution?
IT security,
Right.
like things like firewalls, like antivirus, anti-spam, things like that. Security that is needed by the government, the banks, the telcos, universities, colleges, things like that.
So you had experience of engaging these corporations.
Some of them, yes, some of them. And so when I was in my last role of doing marketing, I felt that I got a bit tired of B2B kind of landscape. So I've always had an interest to actually move into a B2C market, whereby we have a product that we can actually deal with the general public as a consumer base rather than corporate clients. So that's why I think when during that holiday when we were back in our hometown, we saw this booklet and we thought that it seems like a easy thing to do, right? It seems like something that was really easy to do, and I thought with my marketing role at that time, I could help out. I could help out Jia with all the branding, the logo designs, the design of the book, things like that. I thought I could contribute in that area, so I was doing it on a part-time basis then.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that's how we started. We thought it was easy to do, and we decided to take the leap. Yeah.
So was it difficult to move from Kuching to Klang Valley?
Well, for me it was because during that time I wasn't even sure what's the difference between KL and PJ.
Right.
And to make matters worse, I didn't have a car. Alright, so a lot of the sales activities were done via public transport.
Right.
So things like buses,
Oh, I remember the days.
LRT, even taxi sometimes for the hard to reach areas. So to me it was quite tough, to be honest.
Yeah. So Jia was like going around meeting clients, and on our name cards, there isn't a physical phone number.
Right.
It was just a mobile number.
Yeah.
So like when people see your name card, they will say that, hey, you don't have an office? Do you work from home? Things like that. So it's
So definitely a lot of trial and error.
yeah.
Even like let's say you were to put the company number, people immediately know, oh, it's a new company and things like
Right.
that. Then they'll ask, oh, do you have any track record and things like that. Yeah.
New company, how to track record.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So those are part and parcel of the challenges, I would say.
Yeah.
Right. So was it difficult for you to break the news to your elder brother? Go on. I got something to tell you.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, but I gave a year notice.
Right.
a year notice, yeah, which I think should have been enough.
It's more than sufficient.
Yeah, so during that 1 year time, I was doing it on part-time basis.
And handing over and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's
Which is
right.
much easier, considering the fact that it's your brother. I mean, what's the worst thing you can do, right?
yeah, well.
Okay, so all right, so you came over to KL first and started the business and all that. You were working out of your home.
Yeah,
Well, he was already in KL at that time.
Oh, you were already. In
yeah,
KL.
I was in KL
so
first,
you were
yeah.
stationed in KL first.
Yes.
So that's why it was easy for you to come over to KL, considering the fact that there's already.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so what were the challenges like for year one, apart from the name card?
Oh, name card. Okay. Well, actually.
Wait, hang on. Before we start, right? I mean, also touch on the aspect that consider the fact that like I was telling you earlier, coupon booklets, right? This is not new.
Exactly.
Right? It's not a very innovative product, and consider the fact that we are right now, at the everyone is talking about the .com business.
Yeah.
Everyone is talking about web-based business.
Yeah.
What made you decide to stick with physical booklets versus versus something that's mobile?
I
Right.
see. Okay, so I'll start with the challenges first. Okay, so because I come from an engineering and finance background, so I had totally no idea about publishing or advertising and the rules of the industry. So in fact, when we learned about publishing the book, we actually needed a printing permit, right? And for that, we actually learned from our printer and not ourselves. So it came as a shock to us because that took a bit of time to apply for the permit, right? Apart from that, we had a lot of zeros. Zeros meaning zero experience, zero knowledge, zero connections, zero clientele, zero capital as well. All right, so because of all that, it was really tough. All right, so a lot of times, a lot of people ask, oh, how do we get all those clients, right? In fact, it was started by doing some research and actually doing the cold calling.
Right.
Yeah. So it was a tough process. So in fact, we took 1 month to secure the first client, right? And it took another 1 month to secure the second one. So you can imagine like how slow it was. But from then on, it increased exponentially for a number of reasons. I think for example, if certain F&B brands, they belong to the same group. So a lot of times if you secure one, you probably secure the whole group as well.
Right.
Right. And then there's also the so-called kiasu factor. Right. So let's say brand A sees brand B in there.
Yes.
They
It must be good.
they're very tempted to join in as well.
Right.
So
So who was the first client?
first client.
First
I think,
client they
okay.
said, yeah, okay, let's go.
Okay, actually there's a little bit of story to that. This one was actually a beauty salon owner.
Yeah.
Alright, and what happened was actually when I was doing the cold calling, she asked me back saying that how do I know you wouldn't run away with my money?
Yeah.
Alright, which I think is a very valid question. So I told her, why don't we meet up and then we discuss and then you decide for yourself. Right, so fortunately she was kind enough to let me meet her. Right, so during the discussion, it took probably about 1 hour, and then at the end of it, she said she would sign up, not because of we had a brilliant product or anything, but because she felt I was someone that she could trust.
Right.
Right, for that simple reason.
So you being there,
Yeah.
she having a direct face-to-face connection,
Correct.
she's able to say, okay, this guy is not going to run away.
Yeah, and so I would say my approach isn't the typical salesperson,
Yeah.
being very aggressive
Right.
to close sales and so on. But it's more like she felt I was someone that she could trust, and so that was how I signed out the first client.
Is it expensive to sign up as a client?
All right. Okay. For normal packages, there's a range depending on which slot you take. But roughly, the basic package is 3K.
Right.
But for that very first client, it was a 50% discount.
Yeah, which makes sense,
Which makes
because
sense, yeah.
she's the first person to jump in.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it was easy.
No, it was damn difficult. Yeah.
Okay, so after that, you felt great. How do you feel after signing the first one?
I was ecstatic.
Yeah, he came back telling me about it.
The first person I told was obviously Ken. And yeah, for because that was like near the end of the day. So
Right.
at the end of the day, I just kept singing to myself because
It was a Tommy Maguire. It was a Jerry Maguire moment, lah.
yeah, exactly.
Hi, I'm Patrick, and thanks for watching Concrete Jungle. If this is the first time you're watching the show, welcome. Concrete Jungle is a podcast about entrepreneurial spirit. We met up with a lot of very interesting individuals to talk about their business or to talk about their thought-provoking project, how they brought that vision from zero to hero. Concrete Jungle is a passion project that is supported by Green Room 136. At Green Room 136, we design and handmade some really crazy, wicked urban bags. These are all made in Malaysia, and if you like bags, go on to greenroom136.com and really check it out. Now, if you like Concrete Jungle and you feel that the show brings you benefit, here are a few things that you can do to support us and help us to grow. First thing you can do is like us on facebook.com/ConcreteJungleShow and leave us a comment. Let us know whether you like the show, or if you feel that some shows are beneficial, share that with the rest of the Facebook fans. Then subscribe to us on youtube.com/ConcreteJungleShow. Leave us a comment, give us a review, or just say hi. The other thing you can do is go to greenroom136.com and check out our life's work. Who knows, you might see something that you like. And if you do decide to buy something for yourself, feel free to use the coupon code ConcreteJungleShow. For Concrete Jungle fans, you get 10% off your purchase. How cool is that? If you want to listen to the audio version of the show, subscribe to us on iTunes. Go to bit.ly/ConcreteJungleShow. Now, once you're there, send us a review, write us a review, subscribe to the show, give us a rating. Now, iTunes works in a specific way. If you give us a good rating, if you give us a good review, it will bump the entire show up the charts. So who knows? We could be top 3 best podcasts in the whole of Malaysia. Fingers crossed. Now, so final. Share it with all your friends. And if you feel that, if you come across a friend, and this is what I come across most of the time, and this is one of the reasons why I continue to do this show. If you come across a friend who wants to start up a business or start up a project, but they didn't know where to start, they didn't know how to begin. So when I point them to a specific show that is relevant to them, they will thrill, and they get even more inspired. And we do get some people who ended up starting a project. So yeah, share it to as many people as you can. Right? So thank you very much for listening to me babble. And here's to more babbling. Let's continue with the show. So the first one you signed up was about 1 month. The second one you talk about another month to sign up.
Correct,
What was it that you guys were doing for money?
Okay.
You I know because you're still working.
Yeah.
You were here.
Yep.
And both of you were here.
Right.
Yeah.
But obviously, what was it that you're doing for money to keep yourself afloat with the industry?
Exactly. Yeah. So because I was in the bank for 13 months,
Right.
I had a little bit of savings.
Okay.
Right. So basically just running down the savings. But I was very cost conscious as well. Right. So like during that time, every day my breakfast were things like nasi lemak or roti kosong and so on. So during a 6 months period, actually my weight went down by I think 8 kilo.
So it was a good thing, huh?
It was very tough, I would say. Yeah. So during that time, I was very cost conscious. Yeah.
If anyone knows about being thrifty, I think it's my brother.
So at that time, if let's say you brought everything down to bare basics, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many months will you be able to survive just on your savings alone without closing a sale?
Right.
What's the burn rate like?
I think it would take probably 5 to 6 months.
So you have 5 to 6 months of time
Roughly,
to break in enough sales.
Exactly, but you'll be surprised. At the very beginning, we didn't think about that at all.
Yeah.
Because we were, as I mentioned, we were very naive.
You were driven by passion.
Yeah,
you were drunk by passion.
We were thinking like, once the brands come in with the ad revenue, it should be able to
Self-finance
sustain
itself,
and roll and so
yeah,
on.
yeah.
So we were very naive to think, we'll get like X numbers of clients within the first month, right? But as mentioned, it took 1
1
month
month.
to secure the first one. Yeah.
Okay, so what was this? Who was the second
Second
sign
one,
up?
let me think. Okay, the second one was a vegetarian restaurant.
Right.
Yeah, and that one, nothing like unusual about that story. It was just a normal like sales process. Yeah.
So all these are you will you consider all this as mom and pop shops rather than the bigger brands?
Not really.
No,
No.
these are the bigger brands we're talking about.
It was a mixture, but I would say roughly 70 to 80% are the brands with multiple outlets or franchises.
Right now lah, but the earlier set was
Our first edition had 104 brands.
right.
And out of these, like there were some major ones as well. Maybe Jack can mention a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for example, some of the brands under Berjaya Group, like for example, Papa John's Pizza, people like Wendy's and so on.
Kenny Rogers.
Yeah. Then I would say roughly 20% or 30% are those, as
Pretty
you
much the
mentioned.
moment you hit Berjaya, right, it's like you've taken a big chunk of the franchise industry already because they own so many.
Yeah, they have a few. Then yeah, so there are about 20 to 30% of those in the neighborhood area. Yeah, which have one outlet or
So
so.
why do you decide to print something physical and not go with the crowd? Go with
Right.
an iPhone app or Android app or something
I
like
think
that?
at that time it wasn't proliferating yet.
Yeah.
Right.
At that time, I think it was end 2010. So at that time, I think app was still not very.
It was still a very
Yeah.
it was there, but it's just that it's not as prominent
Yeah,
as what it is
that's right.
today.
That's
Correct.
right. Yeah.
In fact, in terms of online, the group buy scene I think came out around end 2010. I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
So do you feel that a physical booklet has some advantage over apps?
I would say
Have you thought about that aspect of it? Should we
Yeah.
go app? Should we not go app? Have you thought about that?
Yeah. Often because when you have a book in the hand, it's very hands-on. It's what you see is what you get.
Yes.
Like with the app, you're actually relying on on many factors. You're actually hoping that the person has a smartphone, and you actually have to cater to different platforms like iOS, Android, for Blackberries, for Windows, and all that. So you have different platforms to worry about.
Yes.
You also are assuming that people have data plans to actually subscribe to internet and all that. And you are also assuming that people are tech savvy enough to know how to use it and
Right.
things like that. So I think when it comes to apps, it's a lot of cost that is. I mean, a simple app can cost around 20-30K.
Right.
And if let's say you're talking about a really good app, it could cost up to 100K or more.
Right.
So it was a huge investment to consider with no signs of really good ROI in the short term.
Sure.
Well, at that time anyway.
Right.
So and when we look at some of the apps in the market, we couldn't see any really success stories or success cases to model upon. Yeah. Perhaps the most successful one is GSC's app,
Yes.
the movie ticket app, whereby everybody can actually book their tickets from the app.
Yeah.
But even that was until recently. I think it wasn't.
It
wasn't
many-
around for the first.
Correct.
It wasn't around since 2010.
The online cinema business took a long time.
Yeah.
It took like 15 years to become where it is today.
Yeah.
And it started during the days of the 97 recession.
Right.
So back then, the very first, I remember this because I'm that old. So the very first reiteration was done by Cinema Online, and they were selling. They actually have a couple of halls booked up, a couple of seats from each halls booked up, and they were selling online tickets.
Yeah.
They were accepting credit cards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even back then, I heard that the cinemas was not receptive to the whole idea of putting there's a lot of challenges,
Yes.
put this way.
Yes.
It took them so many years to where it is today, and now only they're able to get up on apps.
Yeah.
It's quite a challenge. You're right. You're right. So unless you have the programming infrastructure or the experience to do it, right?
Yep.
To get an app is this. It costs a lot of
Yeah,
money to get an app.
yeah. I mean, a lot of people they spend a lot of money, or they try to raise funds to create the app.
Right.
But they haven't set aside a sum of funds to actually do marketing.
Right.
So even
Or they don't have the expertise to do marketing because they
Perhaps.
have the expertise to develop the app.
develop the app,
but
yes.
not the business aspect of it.
Sure, yeah. So perhaps they have a good app, but nobody knows about it.
Right.
Then that's also a flip side to it.
Right.
Yeah. So I think there's too many aspects to worry with the app. Even things like whenever you have an update and things like that, you have to cater to different screens for the Androids. You have to cater to different mobile phone screens whenever you do an update. So security is an issue as well to worry about. Yeah, and we don't have that kind of expertise in house. Yeah.
Coupon frauds. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the booklet. What were the thought processes they put in place when deciding to come up with the book, the very first book?
Okay, well, since we had a booklet that was similar in Kuching, it was easy for us to model upon that.
So you just replicate the process.
Yeah, in the beginning, that was the fastest and easiest way to
Yes.
go about it. So
Yes.
so yeah, we did that.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about that. What was the first thing you did to the booklet?
Okay, well, we started to look at the costing side of things.
Right.
Like how much does it take for us to actually produce a similar booklet, right? So we got some quotations from printers to say, hey, we've got this book here. How much would it cost us to actually print this kind of books, right? And so we got a rough idea. So
How many books you printed?
the first one was about 10,000. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
10,000, yeah. So what we did was basically trying to work backwards. Okay, this is the costing. Okay, how much will we need to set? Like
How many clients do you need to sell?
Yeah, how many clients do we need to sell? How much do we have to sell each advertisement package to actually cover itself?
Right.
So our thinking was just very straightforward. As long as we get like,
No.
as long as we get like brands that come in, like a certain number of brands that come in at the average price, we should be able to cover the printing cost, right? And if let's say the printing cost can sort out itself, then we're pretty much okay. So that was the initial thought process, or the simple logic that we had.
So what went wrong?
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, when we wanted to print the booklet, we found out that we didn't have a printing permit.
Right.
From our printer.
Okay.
Right? So we thought, so let's get that the printing permit, right? So that took us like how long?
Few months.
A few months.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So there was some delay there, but during that time we also tried to secure a few more clients, just to get the book to be more worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had 104 brands at the time. So when we published the first edition.
How long did it take? 1 year?
It took 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months.
6 months, yeah.
So it took 6 months to cover 140 brands?
104.
104, yeah.
Unbelievable. And only you alone,
No, actually we hired a salesperson as well.
right?
And myself, I also got some help from some friends
Okay.
who were in different industry. So yeah, they all helped out a bit.
104. So that means literally on a 1 day basis, you're seeing like 6, 7 different accounts, or
Yeah, something like that. But sometimes even during the weekends. Yeah, but as mentioned, a lot of them actually belong to the same group.
right? So
Yeah,
it's easy.
yeah.
Once you sign up one, like say for example with Jaya, you basically have got a few already signed
Exactly,
up.
yeah. The first edition was actually all in one, meaning there were F&B, there were beauty, retail brands, entertainment, and so on, right? So basically there were, a bit of everything. Yeah.
Okay. So after 6 months, you were able to cover up 140 brands, 104 brands, and you finally got your permit.
Yep.
You're printing 10,000 booklets.
Yep, that's right.
So I pretty much can assume that the next question is how are we going to get rid of 10,000 booklets.
Yeah, that's
exactly. Yeah.
That's right.
You know,
So what was that like?
when we thought getting the clients was difficult,
Right?
selling the book was even more difficult. Yeah, because for that first edition, we didn't manage to get access into the bookstores or newsstands.
Yes.
That was crazy. Can you imagine a book not being in a bookstore? It's
Yeah.
just crazy.
Yeah, consider the fact that you're touching a legacy industry whereby
Yeah,
they've
yeah,
been
yeah.
doing business so long, and they're probably very sluggish when it comes to signing up new accounts,
Yeah, yeah.
new suppliers. So how was that like?
So we had no choice but to do a lot of roadshows. Alright, so a lot of face-to-face selling. The roadshow locations were places like universities, colleges, shopping malls, and office buildings. Alright, so basically we leverage on the roadshows to sell the book.
Yeah, we did about slightly more than 30 roadshows in the first year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I think I mean we're going about the business in a very old school way.
Yeah.
A lot of face-to-face interactions. I mean in the first year, so we were introducing the book concept for the very first time to the market at the time.
And
So
you're touching a topic, or you're touching a product that is traditionally given up for free by banks, by magazines and stuff like that.
I think for banks, when they give out these booklets,
Yeah.
it's normally associated with their credit cards.
Yes.
And it acts more as a reference guide as opposed to physical vouchers that we actually print from this booklet where we can easily tear out. So the voucher is printed out as in pre-printed and ready for use. But I think the booklet that you're referring is actually just acting as a guide as to where you can actually use their credit cards to enjoy certain
No,
discounts.
on the contrary.
On the contrary,
I've
you've
seen
seen
many.
it before. Oh, okay.
I've seen many before you guys.
Oh, okay.
We were doing it. In fact, I did a few of these as well.
Oh, wow.
Not on my own, but for the people that I used to work with.
Right.
And that's why I said coupon booklets are not new.
I see.
Right.
And they've gone to they were very big at one time.
Yeah.
That's why everyone is doing it, especially the banks. They were printing out all these booklets for as birthday gifts.
Oh,
right.
right.
Even Jusco is still doing that right now.
Yeah.
And or they're just doing it for they were attaching it into magazines, to add value to the magazines.
yeah.
Let's say, for example, year-end Christmas season, then when you buy this magazine,
Yeah,
it comes with a
that's right,
booklet
that's
that's
right.
got coupons on it.
Yeah,
These are the things that they've done before.
That's right.
So when you came up with this booklet, do you already have an idea of a $29.90 price tag onto it, or?
No, in fact, the first book was selling at 35.
Wow.
Yeah, that was one of the mistakes that we came across because we felt that the general public is not ready to fork out such an amount.
So
that's why we
when you
revised the
printed
price.
this book- when you printed the book, do you have the impression that okay, the value to this book is phenomenal? There's so much I think they can say.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
They are more willing to pay.
That's right. Our first edition was quoting a saving value of 18,000 ringgit.
Right.
That's if you get to spend all of it,
Yeah.
use up all the vouchers. Yeah. So our tagline was like spending 18,000 worth of savings at the price tag of 35 ringgit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we realized then also was that people would think that they wouldn't use all the coupons,
Right.
Yeah.
right? So that was also one of the reasons why we explored targeted editions,
Right.
right? Because like you can imagine, like let's say a lady who is wanting to slim down, right? Maybe she would use less of the F&B vouchers, and probably a guy wouldn't use the beauty vouchers and would focus on the F&B vouchers. Yeah, so it was one of the reasons we decided to release targeted editions.
Right.
Yeah.
It's more relevant to the
Consumer.
To the buyer.
to the specific
To the
demographics.
user,
If you
yeah.
like. Yeah.
So how do you come up with how do you? So after that, immediately you reduce down the price from 35 to 29.90.
That's right.
You feel that 29.90 is how do you figure out 29.90?
We at that time we were just thinking of making it more affordable, and I think 29.90 was just a pilot testing. I think you never know with this kind of things. Yeah.
So eventually you hit on a sweet spot and 29.90 stays.
Well, 29.90 is doing well so far. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we also try to factor in like costings and things like that.
Right.
You know, to work backwards to find the cost points and things like that. Yeah.
It
So
also gives us some scope in the event that we want to do any promotion
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
but
if too low, then yeah, there's no margin.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So at 29.90, you basically have you're able to identify how many units, how many books you need to sell at one particular event in order to cover the cost of the event, cover the cost of the manpower that you put into the event.
And actually, there's also one way that we've gone about in terms of strategizing the pricing. Okay, so for example, our book, all the vouchers are valid for a year. Like so, throughout the year, we will actually revise the price as the duration goes on.
Yeah.
So to be fair to the consumers, let's say like once we've passed the 6 months point, we'll start revising the price. We'll do a price reduction, and once it reaches the 9-month point, we'll revise the price again, and so on and so forth. So that's all in the essence, to be fair. But in the beginning, it's definitely well worth the money for $29.90, because sometimes like a single voucher you can already recoup back the savings. Like simply with a 50% discount off a buffet is probably worth more than the book itself already. So we're trying to change the mindset of some of the consumers that think that they have to use all the vouchers to make it worth it. They should think from the perspective that, okay, if I spend $29.90 today on this book, you know, how much can I save with a single voucher that I use? Yeah. So
what is your expiration is about 1 year?
Yeah.
What is the turnaround? What's the time for each turnaround for the next issue?
Okay, I think in the first edition we were thinking of doing 1 edition per year.
Right.
But at the time was like Jia mentioned, we started with all-in-one. But later when we started to break down into different titles, like for food, for ladies and so on, we felt that hey, we could release a few titles in a year, but each title is valid for a year. Yeah. So that kind of like is something that we're working on like right now. We're working on a few titles, and we still try to honor the 1 year expiry concept. Yeah.
So now that you've been doing so many road shows, right?
Yeah.
Then eventually, how do you manage to? So eventually, with this credibility, you went to the bookstores.
Yeah.
And you tell them, hey, we've been selling it. This is how much we can sell. I'm sure you can do the same as well.
It was a very
What was
tedious
that discussion
process.
like?
Yeah, it was a very tedious process because we were not sort of like a typical book. Neither are we a typical magazine.
Yeah.
Alright, because magazine has advertisements, but as well as editorial content.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas our book was viewed as being more than 90% advertisement, simply because of the nature. Alright. So we took some time to actually do the necessary paperwork. Right. But our distributor also helped out a lot in the process. Yeah.
So you have a distributor for your books, like?
Yes, we do.
That's right.
Was it difficult to find a distributor?
Yes, because we being a very new publisher, unlike all the other media groups.
Also another legacy industry.
Yeah, I mean like all the other media groups, let's say some even have like let's say 10 magazine titles under them.
Yeah.
Alright. There's another one having like more than 30 magazine titles under them. So obviously those people have a very huge bargaining power.
Yeah.
Unlike us who are like the new kid on the block, right? So
Two young kids.
It was very very tough. Yeah.
Who doesn't know that they need a printing permit?
Yeah.
You have a what book? So that was tough. And but you managed to. How do you manage to convince them to say, yeah, okay,
I don't
we'll
know.
go with you?
Probably the person position herself as a consumer as well, I guess.
Ah, okay.
And then by going through the content, probably she herself like the publication itself.
And perhaps like our publisher checked out our Facebook page and see like a lot of
okay.
yeah, they
There's
probably
so many fans.
yeah, they probably see a lot of like customer testimonials or like pictures of our sales process during the road shows, and the response that we get.
Yeah, these are legitimate.
Yeah,
this is a
probably
legitimate company.
yeah, probably they were convinced by that and thought that they gave us a try maybe.
So do you still go for road shows today?
Yeah,
We
we still do.
Because how it would be of a different nature to the bookstores. Bookstores provide the convenience because a lot of them are in the shopping malls.
Yes.
Right? But having said that, when you walk into bookstores, there are thousands of books in there.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of times ours are normally at the magazine rack. Right? But it's a very passive thing in the sense that it sits there. Right? But with roadshows, it's more of an active nature whereby we promote it to the consumer face to face, right? So in that sense, they are of different nature. But as with roadshow, it's once in a year, like for a specific location, right? So it doesn't provide the convenience like a bookstore does, right? So there's a complementary nature to that.
Yeah, I think one of the challenge that we constantly face is actually how do we educate the consumers, the public, that this is not a typical book.
Yeah.
You know, if only they knew that the values or the savings or the things that they can actually reap the benefits from this book, they probably would think otherwise, or they probably think differently about the book, right? So that was a challenge whereby we feel that user education or the consumer education has to be a constant exercise. You know, we are constantly educating a new group of people about our book. So I think that is something that we should continue doing. Yeah.
Okay, great. Anything else that you want to add on?
Not really.
Okay, last two questions I want to ask is when if say being able to say for some odd reason, able to find yourselves, meet up with your younger self, before you even started or before you even decided you want to go to Wordy Books, what would be the top 3 things you want to share with yourself? What were the top 3 things after going through what you have gone through,
Right.
And reflecting back, when I was back at that time, I was feeling like this and like this and like this, I was studying Wordy Books, what would you tell yourself?
Right. For me, I'll tell myself not to do this. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Alright, so for me, I would say, to be honest, it's difficult to do that because I think throughout all that time, there were definitely a lot of mistakes, a lot of trial and errors, and I think those mistakes are valuable. Alright. So I think it is always difficult to give an advice.
Right.
Right. But yeah, I guess what was very lacking in the very beginning would be industry knowledge.
Right.
Like the thing about the publishing permit and things like that. So all those cost us a lot of time and money as well.
But you do realize, right? If weren't because you have your feet wet, you will never been able to figure that out.
True.
That one out.
Yeah.
Unless you're in the publishing industry,
Exactly.
publishing line.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving into a business that's completely new to you, you will never be able to know what are the landmines that you're about to step on.
Yeah, exactly.
So I suppose those are the learning curves. Those are what you call learning curves. That
Yeah,
you need to
exactly.
take on.
Yeah. So being like a young startup company, I guess there are only a few things that we can rely on, right? So I think hard work, creativity, and passion. I would say these are the 3 things that one must have. Yeah.
For yourself, Ken? Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, like I feel the same. I don't think it's fair for us to actually position the situation that way, because like if we could actually enjoy that luxury, we could have gone back and said that, hey, you're about to step on that landmine, you could have sidestepped it that way, right? I could have said like, hey guys, while while you are doing this, get a publishing permit first, for example. So, but it's not fair to do that, I think, because we wouldn't know then, right? So if we could go back, yeah, we will point out all the time wasted in unnecessary areas and to speed up ourselves up, but it won't happen, right?
Would you recommend yourself? Would you recommend yourself to say, okay, before you even start this, why don't you join a publishing company first? Would you recommend that to learn the experience before you do this?
Okay, yes and no, because like it's probably too late by the time you join a company and come out and you know what you need to do. The market landscape
changed.
probably has changed.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just have to hit while the iron is hot,
Right.
but not knowing whether you have enough strength to hit the steels. But I guess that's the only way to go. Sometimes it's just a leap of faith. Yeah. But I would say that sometimes luck has a very strong role to play.
Yeah.
I mean, if we had like a mentor in this industry, perhaps it could have helped.
Yeah.
But like, it's not like you could meet a mentor anytime you like, or as you please. So, yeah.
So all throughout the entire process, you have no mentor that. I mean, the only mentor you have will be the printing companies and all that, who
Yes,
are constantly giving you trickles of information or tips of how to proceed next, lah.
Yeah, in a way, yes. A lot of trial and errors. We learn from our distributor. We learn from our printers. We learn from in fact, our clients sometimes about things that work, things that doesn't work. Things like that. But constantly, it's a lot of mutual encouragement between me and Jia. Yeah, like for example, there were days where Jia would come back and say that I didn't manage to close this account, right? And I was say like, hey, what's wrong with that? I mean, there are like hundreds and thousands of brands and merchants out there. A single one that we can't close, it doesn't matter. We got so many more accounts that we can actually try and give it a try. Yeah, so we had to constantly encourage each other to keep it going. Yeah.
So were there many moments whereby you felt that let's just throw in the towel and stop this madness? Were there moments like that?
Yeah,
I think there are many a times
Yeah.
many a times but I think we persevered I mean, every time.
What kind of speech do you give yourself to say that's okay? Sleep over it. Tomorrow is another day. How do you get yourself motivated?
In fact, that's a good one.
Yeah.
The one that you just mentioned is a good one. I do that sometimes. Yeah.
For me, I had this a one-liner on my desktop. At that time, I just say, it was more like a question to myself, which is, do you have the guts to do it? All right. So every morning, when I see that, it motivates me. Yeah, because the main reason I stopped working at the bank was because I wanted to learn new stuff, to experience different things, right? But so if I were to quit in that way, then how to say it's not really what I want. So I have to constantly remind myself of that. Yeah.
Okay. So when you first started off, there was just you alone.
Yeah.
And then eventually you hire someone to help you to do sales. Was that a difficult task?
It was. I mean,
how do you convince this person to say, okay, I'll join?
You're right. I mean, the first hire was
What's his name
in
again?
fact, I got conned by the first hire, in the sense that sales people always have a lot of freedom,
right,
in terms of time and where they are working. So this person kept telling me, oh, okay, I'm meeting this person. I'm gonna close how many sales within the month and so on. But in fact, he was having teh tarik and things like that, right? So the first hire was definitely very wrong. And from that, we learned certain things to safeguard our interests and to keep tabs on the person. And subsequently, some of the difficulties were like, for example, hiring people who are older than myself, right? So that's always a little bit hard to convince. Yeah. But I always try to align them with the objectives of the company and their own performance and results, rather than focusing on the age of the company or the age of the founder.
So how many staff do you have right now?
Right now we have a team of 7. it's still a small team, but hopefully it will grow more.
So 2 of you, and then 5 others will be consisting of how many sales?
Sales, there's one more, but the others are people like graphic designers, marketing people, and people who do research and social media as well.
Right.
Yeah, and also a few who do the road shows.
Right.
Yeah.
So administrative, do you have any administrative?
Yep, that's included in the research person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the research person will monitor, like, what are the credit cards offering, what are the online group buy sites offering, and try to benchmark the deals and so on.
I noticed you don't have an accounts. Do you have an accounts department?
We do it ourselves.
Yeah, a lot of things we have to do from A to Z.
Okay, the backers. Do it the Kuching style. Do they still use the backers? I remember the last time I was there. There's some stores that were still.
There's a street lah. Yeah.
But for the record, I don't know how to use that.
You're not alone. Okay, last question. Where do you find Wordy Books right now? Do you feel that you're still a zero, or do you feel that you're a hero?
I would say that we're neither neither zero, because I think we've been through a lot.
Yeah.
And we're constantly improving each edition as we go. We're neither hero because we haven't reached to the place where we want to be. Every time when we are about to give up and all that, there's always a turn of event that encourages us to move forward that extra step.
Yes.
So there's always something that motivates us. For example, like this year, the thing that motivates us is basically we get some corporate inquiries to actually wants to engage us to actually customize their own booklet.
Right.
For them. Like these are people like banks, people like automobile manufacturers, telcos, and so on. So like in the first 2 years we never had such inquiries. So I think because of our efforts in the B2C and having presence in the bookstores and doing all these roadshows, I think like it kind of like elevate us to a position whereby even the corporates are taking notice of our product and actually thinking of coming out with a custom booklet to actually reward either their employees or their customers. So we felt that is a really huge motivation for us to actually concentrate some of our efforts this year to move into that. So I would say that we're neither zero or hero, but we just have so much to look forward to in terms of coming out with different titles, more brands, more interesting brands, and more B2B kind of projects that we are engaging ourselves upon this year. Yeah.
Anything you want to add, Jia?
No, I think basically for me, I think in terms of some of the things that we would like to achieve, firstly, we hope that it would become a household item.
Right.
Like let's say, for example, 1 book per family. In fact, there are cases where couples buy from us, where the guy buys the F&B, the girlfriend buys the ladies edition, and so we hope that it would be at least a 1 copy per household. Right. Second thing is that we hope it would become a sort of like preferred advertisement channel for shopping mall brands. Right? And lastly, which is what Ken mentioned earlier about also becoming a top choice for corporates to consider it as a loyalty thing for their staff or their clients. Right? So we hope to achieve those 3 areas.
I mean, like things like going online and having an app is definitely still like something that we are open to. So I think to become hero, sometimes it's not an individual thing. Sometimes it's not about hero, but heroes. It would be good to be able to partner with a few other heroes to shine together. Like perhaps somebody who might be very good at doing apps and all that. We probably can work together, and we can be heroes together.
Okay, well said. So, okay, thank you very much for the time. I wish you all the success in the future.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.